are the three founders of Smart Building Certification. Elizabeth, what are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about some of the case studies, some of the amazing buildings that we've already certified, but also our background, what we're really trying to do here. This is not just about certification. This is about pushing a movement that's incredibly important and also super exciting. And also what do we want to do in Latin America, Nicholas?
Yeah, we are excited to join you all and be here to share what we're working on, and we're excited to invoke all of you to get involved and come
celebrate
join the
what you're
movement.
doing. Yeah, we
And
love the stuff
celebrate
that you guys are doing.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about three buildings that we did certified already. We're going to talk about the awards. So tune in, and hope you like these presentations as much as we did.
Let's go.
Let's go. Welcome, everybody. Here we are. My name is Wouter Truffino.
Elizabeth Nelson.
Nicholas White.
Yeah, we started a year ago with a smart building certification. First, I would like to say a little bit about how it started. So I got a question 2.5 years ago from Koen van Oostrom. He's from Edge, the smartest developer in the world, developing the smartest buildings also in the world. And he said, Wouter, you need to do me a favor, because we don't have a smart building certification yet in the world. And of course we have and we have all these other kind of certifications, but there must be a smart building certification as well. So create it. And I said, well, I don't know anything about smart buildings really, so I cannot help you with that. So that was 2.5 years ago. But then, not that many months later, we met.
Yeah. So in parallel, what was happening was Elizabeth and I have another company called Learn, Adapt, Build, and we were doing big scale research in the built environment about how does the built environment impact human productivity, performance, health, these types of things. And we were kind of disheartened in the sense that it would take a lot of time to make these things realized. It would take a lot of effort. It would take a lot of money. And when we would do it, we would get amazing results from these research, of course, because once you have data, you get a lot of really great, fantastic insights. But then when we would leave those projects, we would also be a bit disheartened in the sense that the technology wouldn't be embedded in the business process. So it would kind of go to waste. And that was a little bit unfortunate. So we started talking to WOUTER about, where is there a standard? We were talking to all of his community members. Where can we plug into a standard and learn from it? It didn't exist. Do you want to?
Yeah, it didn't exist. And it's something that we asked ourselves some really challenging questions. Could we do this for the right price point? Certifications are an expensive situation. Could we do this with the right experts? Smart just has a huge span. I mean, we're talking about builders, architects. Dr. Ethan Bergstein is one of our amazing researchers and academics involved in helping us do this. How do we involve tech companies, all of this, in building a standard that's useful, that's an accurate measurement, that's a measurement that moves, and having something that is that's constantly of value to pushing buildings to be better, faster. So we asked ourselves a lot of really challenging questions, because if we couldn't do this, we didn't want to do it. We didn't want to build a certification where the smartest building in the world wasn't the best building in the world. So we really wanted to look at the outcome, and we had the network, we had the experts, we had the drive to push this movement forward, and so we did.
Yeah.
And if you look at this quote, I think it's really telling of what smart building is, right? Because I think if we think about, we didn't want it to just be a checklist of technology. Here's your stamp of the technology you have. It needs to go further. It needs to be about what technology, but how do you use it? Do the right people have access to the data? So to deepen our shared understanding of what that term SMART stands for, it's a combined human and device intelligence. So we need to bring the people, the ecosystem, the process all together to learn from the technology that's in play.
Yeah, so we're going to tell you during this short presentation about the certification itself, how it's been developed, but also about the partnerships that we have. We're going to tell a little bit about the awards that are coming up. So yeah, we're going to tell you everything in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the smart building certification. Elizabeth, can you tell us what is in it?
Yeah. Okay. So the smart building certification, it's the ecosystem of everything that exists for technology in a building, but also maybe more importantly, what can we use to improve? So how does this get laid out? We have my background, I'm a science in proactive employee healthcare, health, safety, and security, really looking at the building environment. How, for instance, during this COVID time, how is air quality being measured? This isn't something that we can not use technology for. There are certain things that we can measure as human beings. This is really something that we need technology to verify, to alert, or to confirm that, air quality is at a certain level, is at the desired level.
So if you look at our model here, this is really the model of what the smart building certification is all about. And we've created a model that is all encompassing of the built environment and how it performs for the various stakeholders and users that are associated to it. So if you have building usage, it goes into how is the asset actually being utilized. Then you go into building performance. How is the asset actually performing against that usage? How is the building environment in place to make sure that people are healthy, happy, productive, and with high performance?
Yep.
Health, safety, and security is critical, and health at this moment with COVID is kind of a life and death matter. So that is definitely a pillar that we cover. And then user behavior and collaboration. How are people interacting with the building, but also interacting with each other? And this is all brought together with integrative design, integrative process thinking, and connectivity. Because if you don't have these three aspects, then how does it all come together? What we want to avoid is that you have 30 technologies with 30 usernames and 30 passwords, because there's no way that a building team is going to use all of that. We need to look at how do we get the most bang for the least buck. So looking at an integrative solution, a technical layer that is as small and robust as possible to get the value out of the asset.
Yeah, I think so too. So can you tell us a little bit about the scoring? How can we rank buildings? What are we scoring?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 3 certifications that we have launched. We have one that is core and shell, which is really looking at the technical infrastructure of a building. And this is before it's being used. So this is really useful for building developers, building owners, when we're looking to get tenants and really what is the technical infrastructure in place for the building. Then we have the one that we really pride ourselves on and really want to do all buildings is in operation. I think that the stat is that 90% of buildings don't perform as they were designed when they actually have humans in them. So we need to not have only a stamp on the building as it is. We need to see how it's performing and how the business processes and the technology is being utilized once it's in operation.
Because that's when the technology can really go to work, right?
Yeah.
That's when we can see what's working as designed, like you said, what needs to be tweaked, what needs to be changed. Maybe the people in the building changes. Does that change the requirements? What's going on? So having that kind of consistency, not just designing a great building that then ages, but maybe even designing and upkeeping a building that, I don't know, maybe doesn't age.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Or maybe it's using more energy than you predicted beforehand. And then you can look into all the kind of data that is coming out to really get it fixed and get it back to.
Yeah, and so often people say, okay, I have my smart building, where's the money? Where's my return on investment?
Yeah.
And what we talk about often is that the smart building is the first step. Once you have the infrastructure and you can measure different things, then it's about doing it and actually doing the work to make it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we also launched a COVID readiness certification, which really is a slimmed down version looking at what kind of technology is necessary in this day and age for risk reduction when it comes to COVID. And we're getting a lot of really positive news around the world about vaccines and these types of things, but this is really to make sure that our buildings become and are pandemic proof in the future. But that's also integrated in the other certifications.
Yep. Hey, Elizabeth, we have certified already a couple of buildings in Amsterdam, London, Brussels.
Yeah.
What can you tell about these buildings?
Well, I think most of the people know the one on the left. This is Edge Olympic here in Amsterdam. It's
Yeah, well, actually, everybody knows Edge in
Yeah.
Amsterdam. Everybody's talking about, when you talk about smart buildings, the next word is Edge in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
But this is not the Edge, it's another building.
It's the Edge Olympic.
It's the Edge Olympic.
So this is the follow-up to the Edge, and this is something that was built a few years ago. So like Nicholas said, it's in operation. It is a building that got a lot of noise as the smartest building in the world. We're going to see if it is compared to some of the other buildings that we're certifying. But it's a building that really is looking at not just smart, actually. Some people say it's also an incredibly healthy building. It's a sustainable building. And that's something to know about our certification. We measure, like Nicholas said, the efficiency of the building. So when you have technology that's making a building more sustainable, you get that those points. You're putting that in for the technology. Incredible building. One of the things that What are some of the things that stand out, Nicholas, for you about that building?
Oh, I think for Edge Olympic, what is so amazing is, first of all, the level of detail of information that they have on that building, to the point where they can, virtually take a tile and replace it, and it's all integrated. The user experience. There's also a co-working space in there, which is Edge Working. That's really phenomenal space. They've
done
thousands of
huge things for
sensors. They
COVID.
use the B-grid technology as far as all the technology,
Yeah.
all the sensors that are in there. It's a fantastic building. It's really amazing.
Hey, the second building, guys.
Yeah.
The second building from
South-
Middlecap in London. It's in the middle.
Yeah, Southworks by Middlecap in London. And it's a fantastic, this is a core and shell building that we certified. And the developers on this building say this building has 3 times the technology a building twice as size as it should have. So
This one is in London.
yeah, and it's just packed. It's got so much going on in it. And we learned a ton from them. This building is just being finished now, and we're excited to see how they utilize that smart infrastructure. And that's something we like to do, is come back later and look at it in operation. So that's definitely the intention.
They have also B-Grid, so that's
That was
a
just by
coincidence.
chance.
Yeah. But they also have Office App in there.
Yeah.
What can we tell about Office App?
Office App is, both are actually partners of ours now because of these buildings. And Office App is a tenant engagement platform where the users have it in their pocket. They can actually interact with the building. They can interact with the lights. They can see where it's safe to go, how to get in touch with various people. So that's just been fantastic.
And then we have another building, the third building, that's in Belgium.
Yeah, and this one's one of my, these are all my top 3, probably my favorites, but this one is my favorite because we worked with a great property management company here, LAMP, and they have one of the coolest mad scientists, I think, in property management, at least in this area of the world, where they were doing just the coolest experiments with the technology. I mean, talking about getting your hands into the data, looking at and changing things and optimizing things, that is something they seem to be doing constantly with this space, and doing some cool experiments. There's some research going into this, and it's a co-working space. So it's a space that changes constantly. So when you talk about being up to date, being on point with who's in there at that day, what spaces have been reserved, how big is the group, or is the office mostly just individuals going in there? It's hugely effective. Looking at catering, that's one of the interesting things about offices that have on-food service. Are they measuring this? Are they looking at demand? Are they keeping not only the right amount of food, but the right healthy food, or the right kind of food for people? They did some really cool things that I think we did a case study on, and we're talking about, or it came on the press release.
And you might see that they have a gold label. And so why would we profile a gold label? Because the other 2 are platinum. And what's really interesting about Fosbury and Sons is that it is a co-working space in a larger building. So we're talking about a few floors in a much larger building. And what we see is that what they are doing in the co-working space is phenomenal. I mean, they're, like Elizabeth said, all kinds of experimentation and a lot of hands-on management. But where they have room for improvement, which the certification also shows, is in the overall building and how the two coexist with each other. So the certification has really allowed for Fosbury & Sons to feed back on the bigger building. Hey, we scored really, really well in these areas, but maybe we have some area for improvement, collaboration to help the asset all together. And I think that that's a really nice case study.
Yeah, it is. Hey, what can we tell about our use cases?
Yeah, so it's not only about office spaces. We've only talked about office spaces now, but we've also certified a hotel and restaurant space. And we're really looking at the residential space, culture.
I put a shout out that I really wanted to certify a castle. So,
yeah, if you have a castle, we'll certify that. No, but it's, the smart layer, what we call core smart, is relevant for all of these buildings. The extras, the things that are unique to this business case, those are the things that need some additional, insight and questions. But it's, it's about the context. It's what are you trying to do, and smart can help you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Elizabeth, and when we have those different kind of types of buildings, and of course we certified already a couple of buildings, you get a stamp on how you're certified, but what else do we do? What do we bring to those buildings?
Yeah,
to those owners?
So I think one of the most important things that we need to hit on is we are not just a certification for certification's sake. We really believe that the certification is an amazing way to help move this revolution forward. Yeah. So we take it as our responsibility. We've already started having discussions with banks to talk about better asset valuations for buildings, getting the first smart mortgage on the books in the next few years. We did a great event on that. And de-siloing the industry so that different people can talk to each other. Our mission is to make buildings better, faster. And we really think smart can be this incredible tool in having environments be healthy, having spaces being great collaborative spaces, making buildings more sustainable. We know how much waste and pollution is created because of buildings. We think that we can do better monitoring technology and being efficient and optimize that. So we really want to de-silo, and we know that there's amazing technology solutions. That's not the problem for why we're not further with smart. There's some great technology partners. We work with a lot of them to profile what they're doing, sharing knowledge, and just fast forwarding a little bit.
So we're going to tell a lot of stories.
Yeah, we're going to tell a lot of stories. Yeah, and thought leadership is everything.
And
one way to tell our stories is the awards, of course. Yeah. Maybe we should announce the awards.
Yeah, so our first awards will be this May, where we are profiling 3 main awards. The smartest building in the world. We have the Catalyst Award, and we have the Cornelius Dribble Award. And Elizabeth will tell you a little bit about Cornelius Dribble in a second. But the awards is really, what WOUTER said in a session we had earlier, is that the first awards, it's, really exciting, easier to win, which is this May. So definitely register your projects. There's a link here at the bottom, and you can use this QR code. Go ahead and take a picture of it and register your projects. But it's going to be a yearly thing, and we're really going to be benchmarking the best buildings in the world against each other.
And sharing their stories, sharing their secret sauce, maybe even. What are they doing to succeed? What tricks have they learned? How have they become more efficient, if they're willing to, of course. But register your building. We also have two awards, like I said, like Nicholas said, where we have the Catalyst Award. So this is really, are you a catalyst within the smart building space? What is the trickle effect? Who else are you influencing because of the smart solution that you're working on? Maybe something in your city or your government is catching on, something's improving because of the work that you're doing. Yep. How is it becoming contagious in a good way, I guess? Contagion is not a Corona good word, but and then the Cornelius Dribble Award. So the first smart building was actually built just over 400 years ago by Cornelius Dribble, a Dutch engineer and an inventor, where he created a smart chicken coop that regulated on its own temperature and airflow to help create more eggs from the chickens. And it was this great invention that yeah, it's been applied to other things since, of course. But we say, how can your solutions, how are they creative and innovative? Maybe you don't have the smartest building in the world, but maybe there's something that you're doing that's just super cool.
Yeah.
And it's a story that we need to tell, and it's something that we can share that knowledge. Just submit for the Cornelius Drebel Award. Talk about what you're doing. We really want to share knowledge. Get this moving. Get buildings better.
And of course, buildings from Latin America. We're now working on buildings from all over the world. But
Yeah.
I guess we don't have buildings yet from Latin America, do we?
No,
No.
there's some discussions happening in Mexico and Argentina, which is really exciting. But you know, right now we still have space for the first building in South America, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
That would be great. Well, to round this off, we have a lot of partners, but why are there so many universities on this page?
Yeah.
Maybe we should dive into that a little bit.
Well, and that's kind of our motto, right? We say we're founded in science. We really believe that we're output driven. This is about the benefits that for the world, for each other, for process. So university collaboration is huge for us. We also work with a lot of universities in different ways, sharing knowledge, but also we'd love to put a living lab in your university and certify it. Or certify, I should say.
And keep driving research forward.
Yeah.
So, you know, the certification itself is very much based on research and all the things that have happened. But we're founded in the concept of let's move things forward. So it's about finding universities and buildings and parties to work together to further that research and make it really practical. That's really it. And then with all of our other partners, it's about knocking it all flat and discussing and feedback, honest, open, transparent, making sure that we move this forward together. And that's really what smart building certification is all about.
Yeah, we just certified now 4 or 5 buildings. So hopefully we can come back to an event somewhere else in Latin America and tell you much more about all the buildings that we're going to certify the upcoming months, because there's a lot of value coming out of it, which we can share in different kind of presentations where we really dive into those buildings, what works, what doesn't work.
Absolutely.
And we're really looking forward to that, and really looking forward to work with you from all over the world.
Yeah.
And join us at smartbuildingcertification.com and just join the movement.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and have a
Thank you
great
very
day.
much.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful day.
Bye.